Hello everyone, I'm Emra again, here with my preseason power rankings as we're about a month away from the season and the rival series qualifiers are currently going on. So in my PowerPoint here, as you can see, these are my power rankings for just the RLCS. I'll be making one for the RLRS soon, but at the moment, this is my rankings for it. I'll start in the NA and move over to the EU as we go. Starting at the bottom of NA, I have Rogue and Spice actually getting relegated. Spice, of course, just got promoted from the RLRS last season, and Rogue was FlyQuest last season, but since Rogue got relegated, they sold the team to FlyQuest. Or no, sorry. Yeah. How did that even work out? Rogue sold the team name to FlyQuest, and FlyQuest renamed their team Rogue. Yes. So I have them losing out. Surprised there are Spice dominated last season in RLCS. They were the #1 team, I believe, coming up into the RLCS, and they haven't been looking so hot. DreamHack just happened a few weeks ago at this point. Spice got 3-0'd by Tainted Minds. They ended up beating High Five Gaming. And then they got 3-1 by Ghost Gaming. So not a convincing performance, if you ask me. I don't know, because I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're good enough to make an impact on the 7 teams above them, right? And so I think what's probably going to happen is they're going to get relegated again, but then come back next season after that. But I don't think they're good enough this year to stay up. Next up is Rogue, which is probably surprising to a good amount of people since Kronovi actually came over from G2 this season, and so I think that's a quality move for Rogue, who was formerly FlyQuest, right? And they are improved from last season, but I just think the top 6 is too stacked right now for Rogue and Spice's tape, even though they're both quality teams. Next up, Ghost Gaming and Evil Geniuses. Ghost Gaming was another team that didn't really impress me. Let's see how this works out. They 3-0'd Wind and Rain, it was cool, and then they 3-1 Spice. So I think, I don't know, they're better than Spice, and that's why I have them above Spice. But after that, let's see, let me find them in my bracket. Alright, Ghost Gaming lost to G2, and they barely beat Mindset in a best of 5 series. They went to Game 5, and then they got 3-0'd by Team Ekazulu, who, by the way, I really, really hope make RLRS next season, or even this season, however the plans are going. But I don't know, it's like, they barely beat Mindset. They got 3-0'd by Team Ekazulu, which hardly anybody had even heard of before this point. And I don't know, it wasn't convincing enough for me for them to, like, make LAN, but I think they will stay up. I think they have too much quality on the team, but not amazing. And then Evil Geniuses next. This is another team kind of looking a bit weird. They beat TSM day 1, but they after that, everyone said it was kind of like where are they? Alright, so for day 1, they 3-0'd Nordavind, and then they barely beat Team Solomid in a best of 5. But from what I've heard, I didn't actually get to watch that series, but from what everyone said, it was kind of like a really lucky series. Like, all the 50-50s were going their way. It just wasn't really TSM's day. So I don't really I don't know, because I put a bit of impact on that into TSM's power ranking, but I didn't give Evil Geniuses much credit. I do think Evil Genius is a good team. I wasn't super impressed though, because the next day they got 3-0'd by Team Ekazulu, and then beaten 3-1 by Bread, and that's why Bread's above them. Bread had a pretty impressive DreamHack. They ended up, let's see, 3-1ing PSG, 3-0ing 1UP Esports, and ended up 3 wins to 1 against Evil Geniuses. They did lose to Renault Vitality in a 5-game series though, which, as you can see, I have Renault Vitality as my 2nd team in Europe, and so I'm pretty sure Bread's a quality team, and they're gonna make top 4. Energy and Cloud9 G2 still top 3. I'll get there in a second, but I think Bread will definitely secure that top 4 spot, and they could make LAN. I don't know how they're gonna pan out that this is their first season in the RLCS for, you know, I don't know if any of the players have actually done an RLCS before off the top of my head. But they're a quality team. I think they'll make top 4. They lost to Renault Vitality, I was saying, by 1 game, and then they lost to G2, 3 wins to 1. But overall, they beat EG, they beat PSG. I think they had a quality DreamHack, and that's why I have them up so high. Next up, I have G2, fan favorite, of course. But they did lose Kronovi to Rogue, and I think the addition of Chicago is a good quality addition. Like, I don't think it weakens them really. And at the moment, I don't know how much better they'll be with Chicago, but I do think Chicago has a higher potential. So yeah, G2, they got 3 wins to 1 over Mindset, and a 3-0 over Velocity Esports to make it to day 2. And after that, they beat Ghost Gaming by 1 game, and only lost to Energy by 1 game and a best of 5. And then they beat Bread by 3-1. So they did make it to the final day, quarterfinals, when they got beat out by probably the second most surprising team in the tournament, Savage, 3-1. So they did have a good tournament. I think kind of just solidified their position right in the top 4, the big 3 they're always called. I didn't think anything impressed me enough to make them top team in NA, but definitely making LAN. And then next up is Cloud9, my personal favorite team. These guys, they're not playing their best lately, and I don't know, because obviously they're the reigning RLCS champions. Great first day, 3-0'd War Kids and Rogue, and then next day they 3-1 over Tainted Minds before getting knocked out by Savage down to the losers bracket. They lost 3 games to 0. That's another top NA team beaten by Savage. Cloud9 then went on to 3-0 Complexity, but Complexity isn't even in the RLCS right now, they're in the RLS, so kind of expected. And then in the final day, they got 3-1 by Energy. And 3-1, right? It's like you still put up a win, it's not like you got swept, but I wasn't impressed enough to see them being better than Energy. It just seemed like, even though some of the games were close, it just seemed like Energy was in control the entire time. And so yeah, that's my NA power rankings. Let me know if you have any thoughts about switching, because like teams like Evil Genius's Bread, like I could see that going either way between 4th and 5th spot or anything. Spice and Rogue though, Spice, Rogue, and Ghost Gaming are definitely the 3 teams. 2 of those are going to get relegated. That's, like, in my opinion, concrete. Then over in EU, oh, oops, would you look at that? I left Mouse Esports, 1 above where they should be, but I'll explain why I put that in there in the first place, even though I wanted to change it, but let me start with Triple Trouble. Alright. They ended up beating Mouse Esports 3-1, so I'll get to Mouse Esports in a second. And then Trouble ended up getting... Ooh, where'd they lose? Okay, yeah. They lost to Dignitas in a 5-game series. Wow, did I really have them that low? That's not good. Oh well. I probably should have... I don't know, EU is so weird this year, man. Like... Dignitas, they took Dignitas to Game 5. Really impressive from them. And then they lost 1 game to 3 against Team Echo Zulu. So the only win they got was a 3-1 win over Mouse Esports, which are probably the worst team in Europe in the RLCS. And then they did take Dignitas to Game 5, but I don't see it. I think in a mainstay league, right, like after 7 games, I don't think they'll be able to keep up the quality. A good team again, but I think EU's really stacked this year. I think they have a lot of good teams. And then back up to Mouse Esports. I probably should have, if I was going with honest predictions, I would have Mouse Esports in 8th and Trouble in 7th. But Mouse Esports was my favorite team to watch this year in the EU. And they took PSG to Game 5, but they still lost. That's why I have Mouse below PSG. And then, like, PSG, they did okay at LAN last year. I think they're good enough to beat Trouble. So I don't think... it's weird, right? Because, like, you look at the top 5 teams in Europe, all those teams are so good. But in the bottom 3, like, none of them are, except for Mouse, they're not really garbage. But I just don't see Trouble able to take them out. Mouse Esports, let's see, they didn't really... they weren't good, but I have a thought about that in a minute. They got 3-1 by Triple Trouble, then they beat Esketet and then lost to PSG, but they did take PSG to Game 5. I think the big problem Mouse, they have a lot of simple mistakes. Like I just saw them missing a lot, and it wasn't really anything terribly, like it wasn't that they just don't get along, like play well as a team. There were just some misses here and there and like bad hits that I think they should easily fix by the time the season begins, but I don't think even if they do fix those small errors, they're not good enough to stay out of relegation zone. And then up to PSG. Impressed last year. I think if all of these guys can play well at the same time, I think they can make LAN again, but it'll be tough because like last year, none of them were like, it wasn't a team like they all three played amazing the entire year, but they do have the quality to make LAN, but it's such a tight top 6 that I don't know if PSG will make it, and that's why I have them at 6. Still a good team, but I think they'll miss out by a game or two. They end up beating Team Echo Zulu, one of the only teams to do that this tournament, but then they got beat by Bread, then they beat Mouse Esports, beat Complexity, lost to Dignitas, and lost to Flipside. So, as we see right, they lost to Dignitas and they lost to Flipside. I don't think they're the quality to be up there with those, like, top 3 or anything in Europe, but they do have, decent players, and they played well last season. They made LAN. Yeah, nothing super impressive, but enough to be in my 6th place. And then TSM, I don't think these guys are really, where is this? I want this. There we go. Okay. The first day, they beat Polaris, and they lost to Evil Geniuses, but I was talking about earlier, everyone said that was kind of a weird series, and they lost to MCon, a bubble team, which is really surprising. But after how well we saw them do last season, I don't think they're going to drop below 5. They have a possibility to make LAN, and I think that honestly depends on how Savage does. But TSM an early DreamHack exit, and not really enough for me to judge them on. But they did lose to MCon, which is a bit surprising, but I was not proud, but happy that another bubble team was able to make it through. Again, I don't have much to talk about on that point because they got out really early. And then Savage here, they were really impressive. They did lose to Rogue 0-3 the first day, which did surprise me, but they beat WarKids, they beat Velocity, and they beat Flipside again, which is the only team I have right above them, and then they 3-0'd Cloud9, which is super impressive. The reigning RLCS champions, of course, but then they took Dignitas to Game 7. Super impressive from these guys. I don't think anybody expected this. They just got up from the RLS last season, and now they're, contending for a top 4 spot in Europe. It's just, I think they beat Flipside. I told you that before, and they came super close to beating Dignitas, but I think the players like on Flipside and on Dignitas have had so much more experience in the RLCS, and I don't know. I think at that level of competition, that Savage won't be able to keep it up the whole season. I hope they do. It'd be amazing if they did, but I don't think they'll be able to keep up enough to make top 2 or top 3. And Renault Vitality, these guys I'm super excited to watch this season. They did lose to Complexity, which is really weird. I think it was just, kind of early in the tournament. They haven't been a team for very long. They obviously got K-Dop, one of the best strikers in the world, from Dignitas. But they beat MCon pretty comfortably, then lost to Complexity, but then 3-0 Nordaven to come back from it. So they did make it to the next day. Barely beat Team Echo Zulu, another team that was barely able to beat Echo Zulu this tournament, and they beat Bread as well. Obviously they made it to the finals after taking out NRG and Flipside, taking it to Game 6 against Dignitas, but they lost 4-2. So that's why I have them 2nd place, and that's only because they lost to Dignitas, right? They lost to Dignitas and DreamHack, but so I can't really bet against Dignitas right now. They're still proving that they're one of the best teams in Europe, best in the world, I should say. They are better than Flipside, though. I'm confident in that. And K-Dop, Scrubkill, and Fairpeak, I can't remember his name for a second. Those 3 on one roster has to be the scariest thing ever for any team coming against you. And so I think the potential for the new Renault Vitality team is much higher than Dignitas is. Like, Turboposa, Violent Panda, and Yukio are all good players right there. I have them at number 1, obviously, but I don't think they're individual talents enough to carry them as much as Renault Vitality will, if Renault Vitality can work out the teamwork as well. Because, like, one of the commentators was saying during DreamHack, like, K-Dop just gives you, like, such good positioning in the midfield. He can put anything on target. He can clutch up goals whenever you need him to. And so I think the other 2 players, Fairpeak and Scriptkill, can still pop off whenever you need them to as well. And so I think having 3 players like that can carry you if your other guys aren't having a good day will help get you through the regular season. And if by the time lane comes around you can get all of them clicking, I think that's the winning RLCS team if they can play well. Dignitas, of course, went all the way through, won the finals, but yeah, I don't know, the Yukio, when he's on, they don't look as good as a team as they did with K-Dop. Other commentators are saying that as well, but they are still a solid team. I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh is a terrible acquisition. It wasn't like it was a super big downgrade to the team. They obviously won DreamHack, but I don't know, I just don't think the passing plays weren't there, the team play wasn't there, and I think Renault Vitality will be able to beat them if Renault Vitality can start clicking as a team more. That was Renault Vitality's problem last season. Like, Scribkill and Fairpeak just didn't seem to get along well in a 3-on-3 game mode, but I think K-Dop kind of came in a leadership role to kind of work on that this season, and that's why I think Renault Vitality can take that number 1 spot, but at the moment I think it's gotta be Dignitas. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think, if you have any things you'd swap around or not, but like I said, there are so many things that I'd switch around, especially in EU, that I'd be fine. I would not be surprised with. But yeah, thanks for watching.